We've been looking at the S&P 500 in a bullish fashion, where we've got from the low October lows, we've got 1 and 2 and heading up for wave 3. Now this is still a possibility. As mentioned yesterday, I was considering that we should be in the third of the third here, so we should be pushing up much stronger, but the market is lagging a little bit. So that's one thing that concerns me. The other thing that concerns me is the US dollar having a low in place, so we're going to get to that as well. So what we're doing is we're going to be cautious that we can, because we're one of the first stocks that have sort of topping a little bit is Amazon, and now we're seeing Google do that as well. So yesterday we started to look at the move up here, still as from this wave 2 low here, looking at it as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So looking for looks like wave 1 here, 2 there, and 3, 4, 5, something of this nature, and then having some type of correction here for this. So this move up through here, coming back and correcting, that may or may not be the case. It's just something that we need to work through, and I just want to explain that a little bit further. So this is the NASDAQ here. The same applies to from this low, looking at it building up here for wave 5 of 1, and then some type of larger correction coming into play before heading higher at that point. Okay, so that's and this is how we're looking at NASDAQ stocks too. Pretty much they're all sort of, I'm just trying to tie them all into a top here, and the trouble is that tops don't always finish nice and neatly on all stocks either, because big markets, like the dollar, can pull things around somewhat. So this is the S&P 400 here. So I just keep an eye on it. It's got a kind of a clean account in that regard. So we'll see, as long as this low stays in place, we can consider this wave 4, and we can look for wave 5 to the upside. But we need to be a little bit mindful of things. I mean, in this particular case, we've got 500 here, so it's that should be that. Well, that is a major levels for this, so we should just do the right thing and give it a bit of credence there. And group 2 below here, I don't need to go into all of that, but that's just the basics there for that. So the US dollar, we've been counting down as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And I find this probably the most important, because the thing is that any countries outside of America, they are subject to the US dollar, because everybody's trading in US dollars, so that can benefit some people and other people not. It's got a lot of bearing on other countries. So we've seen this dollar come down. We expected a bounce around this area, let's say, and we're searching for lows, is this it or is that it, and all those sort of things. And anyway, it made itself clear at the end of the day. Now we do have an impulse wave to the upside here. We have 5 waves, so that's telling me that after a correction that it's doing now, then it's going to push up further. Now it could push up as an ABC pattern here and then come down. Now there's some markets like the Australian dollar, for example, gold, that would probably suit a smaller ABC correction here. But we also need to be mindful that we don't end up with something larger as well here. So this first move up here as wave 1 up here, and then currently pulling back for wave 2 instead of B, and then we end up with a just larger pattern overall, and this is the 61.8%. So it's possible. So what bearing, how's this going to affect other markets around the place? So the mirror opposite to this move down through here, let's just start having a little look at that in terms of the euro here, and the cable's the same, the Aussie, the Australian dollar's the same. So we've just from the October lows here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we've got the A wave, the B, and the C. So we're seeing stocks like Amazon come down like this, and now last night we see Google coming down like this as well. So do we have this simple ABC correction coming down here, or is this going to be something like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, and then an AB for the A wave, and then an ABC, and then another 5 waves down? Do you know what I mean? Is it going to get bigger? That's one of the questions, and how will that affect, because it will come back to bite the US in that regard as well. So that's that market, and this is the DAX. So I mean, it's the same as the euro really, but it hasn't really fallen out of bed just yet. It's showing signs of weakness, and if I put wave 4 here and put wave 5 here, then would have a top in place at that point. So a little bit messy in here for this, but generally speaking, the whole pattern here is very much, it's being held. It's kind of like halfway. It's between a rock and a hard place. It's sort of like with the S&P 500, but also on the currency side of things, the trade side of things, it's being sort of pulled up there. So, and it hasn't, it may have started the ABC pattern or not, but you'd think like having a big move like this here, a correction like this would be suitable. You'd expect this correction here to be bigger than this one. That's what I'm thinking, So we do need to be a little bit careful, and this also comes through into the commodities as well, the October lows as well. Well, actually September, this is when the dollar topped out. This is also displaying, 5 waves up and looking for an ABC. So we might get away with a small ABC here, or it might get bigger than Ben-Hur over here. This is the same for GDX as well. It's October lows moves, moving into this particular space. And, I can go on and on with these sorts of markets. And now we come to Apple here. So, I'm thinking that I could easily be wrong. I'm a little bit lost on this, but I think that we may even have a top in here now for a lot of these. Like I said, Amazon's pulled down, Google's pulled down, obviously Apple's pulled down as well. But there's stocks I can see that still need another high. The banks can go higher. So Tesla can go higher. Meta, Facebook thing can go higher, and so on. But I'm just thinking that another push up. So around these tops, I can get wrong very easily. So what I'm thinking is that I'm not really going to call many trades at this particular. We have been long in lots of things. We may still be long in 1 or 2 or whatever. But the thing is that I think this is a period of time that we need to really sort of do nothing, and you don't want to be trading around large numbers, because large orders come in and they could be buying orders, they could be selling orders, but they really make the market a little bit volatile around these areas here. So for Apple here, I think we've got some sort of A, B, and C down here, and we can move up from that point. But we could, like I said, I could easily make a mistake, and we could be on our way down for here as well. It wasn't that clear in here, and I could, do something to put a top in here. So there's no setup here anyway, because if I was going to go long here, I'll go long above the top, and then I'll go long above this one here. And even if that was the case, I think it's just not going to go very far, and then come back at that point. But by all means, go long above here, because that would be, a trigger to the upside. I won't go into a closer thing of this, but you can see that it's an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave coming down here. I think yesterday, in fact, I will go down here, because I think it's a little bit interesting, because yesterday we were counting down. I think we were down here somewhere yesterday, and I could count this down as an ABC to this point. If it's an ABC to this point, it makes another low here, well, then that's going to make that wave 3 and 4 and 5 here. So I can see we've got 1 and 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I can see that we've got the A wave here, and then we've got an ABC pattern here, and then we've got the C wave here. So look, it could possibly continue down for a larger picture here. I'm not quite sure, you know. If you want to go long as an intraday trader, finding a tested support on 153, the top of group 1 of this market here, then you can go long. So it'd be something like this. You got the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, some type of move down anyway. You can take that top out here or find another top in here, but when you take that top out, trade to the next level, get out, wait for the setup and go off again if you get it, you know. But in this case, you didn't get it here, but you might get it over here, you know. But we had 5 waves here anyway, so you're not going to get it. That's supply at 50-60%. So yeah, I mean, it's really only suitable for you know, scalpers really going. I don't even know if that's really scalping, but things change over the years. But yeah, very short-term positions at this point. Now, this is Amazon here. We talked about this yesterday. It's come already, you know, been coming down for a little while. So we could expect it. We can see the stochastics here, depending on how you set the stochastics up. But we should see some sort of little rally here. So I was just sort of expecting some type of A, B, and C pattern here. And this here can be counted in different ways. You know, I mean, I'd really love to put wave 5 over here for this and have this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 up here. There's other ways to look at it, but I can see that can be counted in different ways. So yeah, I'm not that keen on spikes, so to sort of make it a little bit difficult at times. But yeah, I'm just going to see how this sits here. We can go in and have a bit of a look. What have we got on the 100 ticks here? But there's no trades here at this point. And even if we're going to short it, we'd still want to rally up here, you know. But it doesn't hurt to keep an eye on it, you know. So once again here, we can, I think I've adjusted this again here because of another low, but 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for third, fourth, and fifth. It does look a bit corrective here. It does look a little bit impulsive here. It looks like it could go to the upside there. If you wanted to trade that long, then that's the trigger above there, and the stop would go there. So it's pretty tight at that point. So doesn't mean that, you know, I mean, you could put in less because it's not a fantastic setup, and it would probably just be part of a corrective pattern. It could be something like this here, you know. Whoops a daisy, that can just go over there somewhere. That'll be that supply zone there anyway. It could be just 5 waves up and we go down again. Look, it might go further up as well, but it's a pretty good case for this here. But anyway, that's the trade if you're into it. Nvidia is one of the stronger ones. So we've got, I'm on 1,000 ticks here, so it's showing a bearish count in a sense, but I know it's a bit weird. But anyway, the main point here is that I've been trying to figure out, a bit like Apple really, how to count this to the upside here. So it could just keep on going, but I've kind of got to be a little bit careful. I've got to kind of look for a top here. So that's really what I'm doing at this point with this. So yeah, I think we've got a bit more it's a bit, once again, the trouble with this one here is this little spike in here. It's like, do I put this here or do I put this here, you know? So there's that, and that makes the difference. So the spikiness, there's a good case for an A and a B and a C wave to here. But doesn't really give you 5 waves up here. That's the other problem. So there's a good case of putting it here. But obviously it's going to affect the top here until I can see a little bit more. I mean, I can count 5 waves in from here to here. I can count 5 waves, and that's nice and sharp like a wave 2. This one up here looks like 1 and 2 and 3 here, and a 4 and a 5 to get to here for this, and then a 4 and then a 5. You know, it could be something like this, and then we have we'll see how it sits across the top of group 1 here anyway, you know. But we can go into the tick chart and look at that. I'm just saying that we've got I did raise the stop up here too, and then I did put this back over here. So I've put this here as the A, the B, and the C here. And then looking for this as wave 1 up here, but I don't know about that. I can't. I've got a problem there. I've got an issue there. But here I can clearly see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC, 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave. So we should go, technically we should go higher. We don't want to be coming any further down here, so we should be moving up here somewhere for this one, and that will give us this wave 3, and then just borrow that for wave 4 and finish. But I've still got this as an old count as 1 and 2 here, building up even stronger. But I'm going to get to the, once I get to the top up here at this level here, the top of group 1, that's going to be helpful for me at this point. If you want to lift this up into here, then by all means do that, because it also looks a little bit impulsive. We have to protect what we've got at this point. The meta, I've tightened all this up as well, just so we get one more push-up. I want to see what that looks like, because I was looking for a couple more push-ups here. Yeah, I'll see what we get across this here, because it looks like the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and then we'll see, we'll see how deep this is. If it's deeper here, we can look at it as wave 2. If it's really shallow, then we'll put it back as a wave 4, all of that sort of thing. But we need to tighten everything up, so everything's got a top in place, like the SP 400 here. See if we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a good case for a little 5 waves down here as well. So, but anyway, we'll just see how things play out. Rightio. So the next one here now. I can see this wants to go higher, but at the same time, I just want to be a little bit careful, because I can look at this as 1 and 2 here, and 3, 4, 5 here for a top here, So yeah, but I can see that it would like to go higher. And there's different ways to count this. All of this, there's different ways to count all of this as well. So I'm not too worried at this point. I did want to just, normally, when you find support with a big correction like this across number 3, you'll end up at 4. And then between 3 and 4 here, the most important number is this one here, the 50, and asking yourself, is that support? Because if you get support here, then you'll be pushing up here. The 80's next. There's also another issue with this as well. On the month, we'll just go in and have a look at this. I was looking at this here. So I always like just to take the top and the bottom here and find out whether 23, 38, 50 and yada yada, all the fibber numbers here. So we can see that it got affected at the 23 here, and then it's going to be affected at the 38, which it is at the moment. It spent a little bit of time here, and we've got this consolidation over here. So this is a good place for, it is struggling here, because the move up through here, I could see that it's, the move is basically, if I can just, it had the first larger one, and then it was smaller, and then it's smaller still, and I'm sort of getting that, it could be building up as 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2, and we've got it like that as well. But also too, this is an ending sort of pattern. Now the monthly volume here is quite good around this low here, you would have to say. We can see that the trend up here is what it is, but we could see that this is all diminishing here as this is going up. So we know that they don't go up forever on that. That's diminishing volume, that's divergence. And so over here, really just reading bar for bar here, everything looks pretty good. Obviously we don't have this month here. We have this month, which is good. Lower volume on the correction here, push up on this bar. This bar here pushes down, but on lower volume, so that's corrective. This pushes up, so that's good. That pushes down, it closes lower on lower volume. This closes higher on higher volume. This pushes up here. Now this one's a worry. This is the first one that's telling me that there's weakness in the trend at this point, so you keep an eye on it. Come down, lower volume, that's okay, and a push up here. 1, 2, 3, yeah, so that's okay, but let's just take a closer look inside of this, because I can see it slowing here anyway. So, but okay, there we go. So yeah, look, on the one of the problems here, obviously this week's not finished, but we've got these two. This one is weaker than this one, and this one's weaker than this one. So we can see that in the bars, and we can see that it's stalling here. So there's no volume coming in to push this up at the moment, but there's no selling going on here at the moment either. But the prices are edging higher a little bit, and on lower volume, so it's divergence again. You know, for a trend, we need this trend here. We can see increasing volume. Good. This, you know, you surf that wave, you stay with that. When you see things like this here. This is the problem here. So this bar here is on lower volume. That's a warning sign. You know, that's the yellow light. This is the red light. This is your fine. This is where you lose your money. But yeah, so anyway, there's weakness there. So just be careful about that. Okay, so Enphase here. Yesterday we were looking at wave 4 in here, and we sort of pushing off a little bit. So it obviously pushed up quite high, hit our target area up there. We're looking for wave 3, 4, 5. So it's come down here now. It looks like that's 5 waves here. It looks like that's 5 waves here, and that little move, it looks like that is 5 waves. So it doesn't look like a nice 5 waves here, you know. So I could look at it as, you know, an A wave here, a B wave up here, and a C wave over here, and put this A wave here, and B wave here, and a C wave here, and go up. There's a few things that we could do with this corrective pattern. I understand that, but I don't know which is the right one at this point. Not right enough to, you know, to say that's that and this is what we're going to do, you know, because at the moment, as we talked about yesterday, we're looking up as 1 and 2 here, and you know, looking for wave 3 up here, which could be wave 3. This move down here is a wave 4, hasn't overlapped this top of wave 1, but really it's you know, it's pretty saggy, isn't it, you know? So as far as I can, and it's not the most beautiful count, you know, I've done my best with it, but maybe not my best, always room for improvement, as my lovely wife would say. But yeah, I mean, and also too, as a wave A and a B wave here, and then all of this big move here as a C wave, there's no relationship there as well. So I've got a lot of things wrong here with this. So I think what I'll do is I'll just relax for a moment, and let's just watch this move up. Here I can see that that's a little impulse wave, so we're going to be going higher, but we could just go to the 61.8% of this, you know, 50-60%, and then come down at that point. So we'll just need to be a little bit mindful of that type of thing, you know, see how this sort of plays out. Look, it could still go higher, but we're kind of looking for a bit of a top thing in the market. So, and also with this market as well, as I've mentioned on the daily chart here, what concerns me the most is that this move down through here, we've been counting that as 5 waves, you know, and we've been looking for some sort of correction here. I'll just tidy this up a little bit. We know that the 50-60% is further up here, but yeah, we just always need to be careful about those things. We're still a long way away from it, of course, but you know, there's good solid resistance here, isn't it? You know, so we'll just see how this sort of plays out. It might be a good short actually, but just seems hasn't reached up here. So just hasn't done. Nothing is solid about this particular rally at this point. You know, it hasn't reached its destination. Hasn't given us a nice clean 5 waves up that we could work with. I mean, maybe it is 5 waves to the upside, you know, and we'll need to look at the 61.8% coming back down here. Maybe it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, you know. It's below, it's not that it's a big deal because it's broken through the 61.8%. I mean, it can come to a point within the low here, you know, as long as it doesn't breach that low, really. But it's not really displaying the volume either at this point, this bar. Anyway, I got us to this point up here where we were supposed to get to. Now I need to wait and see what we're going to get next, and I'll try to figure things out. So with Tesla here, from the low, we've got, I mean, wave 4 is really small here, but I've certainly got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, so I've got to put that in. I could put that here, or I could put it over here. I mean, either eeny, meeny, miny, mo sort of thing. But we are seeing that move up here. You can see that it's been, you know, it's been really tight in amongst here, hasn't it? It hasn't done anything. Nobody's doing anything here at the moment, you know, but the momentum of the trend can still take us higher. So I'm thinking we're going to get, it's going to be really tight. It's going to be something like that, you know, and then we're going to get this here. It'll be something like this. I'm not quite sure just yet, but as I said yesterday, we don't have to, you know, we don't have to worry about it just yet. Whatever happens, we want this wave 2 over here, and it may just come back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree here. But I don't see anything wrong with this trend. How I've made a mistake, I could probably put wave 1 here if I pulled all that apart and see if I made a mistake, and then look at that as 1 and 2. But it's quite a big correction here, enough to satisfy all of that, and that's definitely 5 waves. That's definitely 5 waves. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can count 2, 3, and I can count 2, 5. So I think we're not far off here, but you know, we're at a major level. This is our group 1, group 2. That's our swing range. We don't need to do anything here except wait. So nothing to do. And this is, you know, that's the thing with the markets, isn't it? They're like, they're all pretty much doing the same thing. So you've got to kind of search high and low and wide to find something to look at, and you know. But when you get familiar with a particular stock and how it moves, each stock is like one human being in a way. You know, it's got its own personality and its own traits and all of those things, but it's unique to itself. And yeah, when you start communicating with a different human being, you know, it's a different relationship, isn't it? So it's difficult to go from one stock to another. I know that, you know. But don't be frightened. They're all the same. They've all got 2 eyes and arms and legs like us, so to speak. So Alphabet's the other one where it's moved down, you know. So the other little thing here, if this, I mean, there's GOOG and GOOGL here. So this, if it's got the L on the end, it's got the shares have got voting rights. If it's just the GOOG, then it doesn't have voting rights. And the thing is that on both of these markets, both of them, one has got this as the high and the other one's got this as the high. So it just depends on which one you take. Now this is IG markets here, and I don't know why they've labeled it like that, but I did send them a request to ask them, is that a copyright thing, or, you know, because the S&P can get a bit, the Standard & Poor's can get a bit up, you know, they like to sell everything, you know, so if you're going to use their indices name, then they want they want money, you know. They didn't even do their job through the 2008, did they? You can't even do their job, and they want money. So anyway, enough bitch and Pete. So look, main point here is that in both cases it has come down. And yeah, so I'm going to treat it like we've looked at the euro and everything else, and look at it as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave to come down here. But I'm not sure, but I don't have to do anything. It's not like I'm going to go long here. And this is also a bit like, well, it's a classic trading levels pattern. It's got the arrival, the reaction, first high above the level. We wait for this, so that's what we'll do. That's it there. So we've got that, we've got that, we've got that, and we've got the first leg down here, even though the first leg's come down lower, I think. But yeah, so we have to wait till we get over here. Now, obviously, there's can be a bearish picture to this as well. Like I mentioned, you know, I've got a lot of, I think I've got more reasons to be, when I look at the charts on things, China and other things, then, you know, even some of the S&Ps, you know, the low value stocks have made new highs, made new highs above, up here, but it doesn't stop these sorts of things, because they're quite close to the lows, making another low here, and we're keeping an eye on that as well. So we're on 50k for bearish counts, 50,000 and 1,000. So this would be the bearish count here. So this would take us down into, well, below 80 anyway, if that was the case. But we'd probably have to see the whole market crash like that, But yeah, we'll just take it step by step, and we can look for the short trades. We can go to the 1,000 ticks, which is where we've got this sitting at the moment. So this would be the ABC up here for the B wave. See, this is the thing, like this, like the voting shares have got this as the high, very clear above this one. You can go to another charting program, whatever. But the other one's got this as the high. So the other one's got this as the high. You could look at this as the ABC pattern here. But as a C wave here, it's a little bit sharp. It's more like the personality of an A wave. And this would be 5 waves in here as well. I don't think 10k is not going to show. I don't think 100's going to show it either. Yeah, it's a bit hard. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. That looks like 5. That looks like 3. That looks like 3. Is that 5? Let's just go and have a quick look, shall we, on 10 ticks while we're here. Now that we've opened up the can of worms. I still can't see in here. I would assume that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. This is an A wave, B wave, and C wave to here because I've taken out that top. That's all of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can I get this out of here? Oh yeah, I could do 1, 2, 3. Oh no, that's really messy there. I'm sorry, I can't do that one. I can see different parts of it, but it's not giving me a nice clean 5 waves here. That's definitely, I mean, so it could be 5 waves here, it could be 3 waves here, but this is corrective, taking out this B wave top here, so it's going to end up higher at that point, but it's not really giving me 5 waves down here, is it? Maybe just, now you've got me going here. Now we need to look into this a bit more. This is 5 ticks. Still not there. Let's just go into 1 tick and just have some fun here for a moment. I still have to treat it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's probably just just gapped anyway, I'd say. But the rest of it's okay. But it still does. It gives me 3 waves down to this point, so that's interesting. But if that's going to break that top there, if that's going to break that top being corrective, that's going to, yeah, then we don't want it overlapping that. I mean, we could end up with an ABC pattern down here, Anyway, I'll just wait for more information. I don't want to, don't need to do anything. It's just bobbing around the 100. It's not going to go very far, So Microsoft here. So let's just clean our trade up. We had a trade here, we took percentage here, and we got out here. So I'm just going to remove those here. We don't need those. And so I've been trying to tighten this up here. This can have a bearish count too, the same as Google basically, but I won't go there on that just yet. But and I've been looking at this in different ways to sort of see how I can tidy this up a little bit. As 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 doesn't really give me 5 waves here, but I'm overlapping here, so I kind of got to do that. And I can't use it any other way. I mean, this moving down here, overlapping this, I have to put it that way. So I'll just want one. It's not up to me, of course, but we'll just wait for that, and we'll just see what happens after that particular top there. but there's nothing stopping it coming down here at the moment. I mean, it just looks like 5 waves here as well. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here at first sight. It doesn't look like a fantastic third wave in here. It also looks like 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5. So it can certainly be an ABC from this point, but it can get out of hand and turn into 5 waves coming down here. So we'll just see how that plays out. Don't pay any attention to my ABC here at this point in time because it's not set in stone. We can also just have this as wave 1 here. We still need another little bit down here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll be coming down here somewhere for that further on. Let's just see how that develops. It looks kind of corrective. Looks okay. Yeah, but I'm not calling in any trades at this point. This is Berkshire Hathaway here. It's possible that this here is up for 1 here. So we can go up for 1 and back for 2 and then push up from that point. But this is really too big for 1 and 2 at this point. So from where the markets are, I think we might need to look at a move down here further. I'm unsure, and we don't have to do anything at this particular point. We talked about having a long trade in here the other day, and yesterday I talked about getting out of that on the next little high. So maybe you've done that, maybe you haven't, maybe you want to ride it out, but yeah, I've just changed this around a little bit to match up with some of the other markets around the place. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of good in a way. It's got some support. It's trying to get some support here, but it's not really it's got a lot of weight here, like for this, you know. It's like it's just holding, it's a lot of weight holding up on a cloud in a way. And yeah, I mean, if it took the top out here, then I'd be a bit more chirpy about it. But anyway, we're not going to do anything there just yet. I mean, the low volatility stocks, as I've mentioned before, let's just bring one up here. It's just the treasuries, not to worry about that too much. What I wanted to have a look at here was the indices. Indices here. See, this is what I find sort of fascinating, really. So the iShares here, the ETF here, it's taken out the top here, you know. It looks like Goldman Sachs, actually. It looks like the banks on that side. I'm not sure of the constituents in here, but this is a daily chart. This is the whole correction down here, and it's taken out the top here, you know. I mean, that's got to mean something, doesn't it, you know? It's hard to be bearish when you see something like that. I mean, those communication stocks, you know, like the Googles and that, this is their section here. Google's got, you know, 20% of this here, or roughly, whatever. You know, it's been moving up quite, I mean, it's pretty bullish, isn't it? I mean, that's more than short covering. That's way beyond that. I mean, it looks like this still needs to go up further here. Another push up is little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway, that's another story. Just shooting the breeze. So over to block here. One of the things with block as well is a bit like some of the others is that we can count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then 2 here, and then 3 here, and then yesterday we were looking at 4 and 5. So we've got 5 waves here. So we need to respect that. It does look like this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here, and some little correction. I don't know if this is some sort of A wave to here, an A, B, C to here. So the B wave could come back over here. That could quite easily go over here. Not that I'm sort of concerned at the moment. I mean, it's a bit low. We should still see, even though that it can come down further, we should still see this. And because we get 5 waves here, we should get another 5 waves over here for that. Okay, so that's where that is at the moment. and Bank of America here. So yeah, we've had it as 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2. The extension, the 161, should take it to about there, I would imagine. 161 of that. That's about right, yeah. And there, but it still leaves that a bit short here for a third wave at that point. I can't get my head around that. Maybe it's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 at that point. Probably something like that. We'll have to lift it up a little bit. Is a little bit haunting because you've got 5 waves here, so then we're getting another 5 here, and it is slowing down here a little bit. Can we look at this as an A and a B and a C wave here? We could, but the thing about that, I mean, I'll just have a look at that, the bearish count. I think I did put one on 50k, so where are we? 50k. We could look at it like this here, as an A wave here, an A, B, and C here for the B wave, down for 1 and back for 2 here. It's quite high for 2 coming into that supply there, but it does give us 3 waves there. So I am keeping an eye on that, but I don't think that's the case. And the reason I don't think it's the case is because of this is Goldman's here. So Goldman's have got a little impulse wave up here, so we could look at that as a little probably wave 1 up here and wave 2 to come back. So pretty much in line with what we're doing with the S&P and that, you know. This all looks corrective in here. I mean, taking out this top here, you know, that tells me that we're bullish at that point, taking that top out, because we've already got 3 waves here. Anyway, we're way up here, the top here, you know. I mean, it's like, I mean, it's still could be corrective, but it's sort of reminding me that we can be bullish. But this pullback here, I mean, I can kind of see that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. So then I'm thinking, well, this one over here could be the same as well. You know, I have been counting it differently as, so putting this here as 1 and 2. We talked about this yesterday as well, but it doesn't count very nicely as 1 and 2 to this point. So I've been looking at it as, you know, pushing up higher. But the other thing that I mentioned yesterday is we're coming into the old highs here anyway, so there's going to be some selling into here, and so you're going to have to work out if you want to keep your long trades in all of this. So just going into 10 ticks here and going into, so we've got wave 1 and 2 here. So I've labeled this one the same as Goldman's here a little bit, in terms of just trying to get 5 waves up here for wave 1 up here, and then coming back for wave 2. So we've got these positions here. If we're going to pull back to wave 2, we're going to turn these green into reds over here, you know. So I've lifted the stop up to here just to protect those, you know. And if we push up here, then we'll look at that and see what the rest of the market looks like at that point. If we get stopped out, we get stopped out. It does look like 5 waves here. It looks a little bit corrective here, but you still look at this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and come lower here. Let me just have a little look in here. Well, that seems to be, oh no, you could, yeah, that can be an ABC. Yeah, you could probably get stopped out here. But anyway, at least we're protecting these guys here, you know. I don't need all of these anyway, I'll just leave one there for the time being. But yeah, we'll look after those, and we'll see. I mean, I can see that, you know, the market was strong here, and then less strong here, and less strong here, and I'm getting overlapping wave structures. The market's creeping to the upside, you know. That's bothering me a lot. This can be counted in different ways here, but yeah. So I'm just going to leave it at that for the moment, and yeah, so it looks like there's further upside for everything. It's just that we can be a little bit toppy at the moment with banks and other markets. Alrighty, I'll leave it all at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.